I grew up with this place. This place was not always a vineyard and a winery. It was a place to come to enjoy, kind of get out in the country. My father had a big green thumb that liked to have gardens and fruit trees and things of that nature. So that's kind of how it all started. I was really young when we purchased this land in 1972. And so would come out here and play and ride go-karts and mini bikes and all that sort of thing as a kid, and sort of saw it evolve into more of a business. Eventually, I think, it became a dream to make this a bonded winery and, sort of enlarge the vineyard. And my mother and father had this love of wine, love of the outdoors, and agriculture was an escape from my father, who was running a business and would come out here after work and dig in the dirt, and that was fun. It was work, not to him, it was fun. So we all got involved in it, but Mom and Dad basically, they traveled all over Europe, enjoyed wines, enjoyed the European wines, French wines in particular, and wanted to see, well, what if we planted an acre of those types of grapes to fool around with against the urges of the North Carolina agricultural extension people, only because no one had ever done it. The growing season was too short, they said. Elevation was this, soil was that. So you tell my dad, you can't do it. He just wants to go out there and do it just to kind of prove you wrong. But also what was, if it didn't work, it didn't work. Well, obviously it worked. So after that acre was cultivated, a few acres came after that. My father had a hobby winery that he was tinkering with, took classes on how to make wine and studied it for several years and enjoyed having that little cellar and that winery. We were starting to harvest more grapes than you would want for a small little hobby winery. So we started selling our grapes to other wineries who were larger and already bonded and wanted to like the quality of our grapes. And that was really the neatest thing, was that the grape quality was excellent. And so next thing you know, it gets to be late 80s, we got 30 plus acres out here. It's time to start thinking about doing this ourselves. And I just think that's how it evolved. We have 41 acres total here, approximately 16 acres of grapes, vinifera and hybrids, several different varieties. We have our sales and tasting room. Behind that, we have the winery and also the brew house, the brewery. We have our office here. We have a lot of storage. We have a Hoosier house, which is a renovated, basically about 160-year-old building that part of it's renovated, part of it's still the same as it was 160 years ago. Added residence that's over 2,000 square feet. It used to be our winemaker's residence. We have a large garage full of tractors and mechanical equipment used for this business. Everything that someone could use if they wanted to come in here and have the same thing that we did. It is turnkey. I mean, we have state-of-the-art equipment in that winery and that brewery. If someone wants to come in here and kind of pick it up where we left it off, they have everything that they could use to have a winery case production approaching 10,000 cases a year and more. Some of the equipment that we have here, the press, the crusher stemmer, bottling machine, tanks, fermenting tanks, all that sort of thing. European typically, that's where a lot of the engineering is, and some of the best equipment comes from there. So we have excellent equipment in the winery. Anything that somebody would want to, an established winemaker would come in and would see that. Prospero bottling line. Our bottling line is a bottling line and a labeler, and it's sort of two pieces kind of come together. I believe it approaches 100 cases per hour. So we're talking about quick. and settings to do any kind of bottle. It's fantastic. It really did make that process a lot less tedious, because that can be a tedious process. So we've taken it to a certain point. It's just maybe time for this chapter to close and to move on to other opportunities. It's kind of like a baby. It's kind of like a child. You know, you see it grow, and now it's moving on. You know, I know you might get a little bit flowery there, but that's the way it feels. It's kind of like we don't want to just give the baby to anybody. You know what I mean? We kind of want someone to really, hopefully, cherish it the way we have.